Hello, I'm Steve, and I'm glad you're here at Salty Air Artistry. My passion is to showcase the sunny beaches, sparkling waters, and rustic charm of sunny Florida. Let's start. I'm creating this golden sunset scene featuring a white crane in a Florida wetland. When you choose to paint this image, remember to infuse your unique style and viewpoint. This personal touch will make your artwork stand out and add a special appeal. This medium grain canvas panel needs a smoother surface, so I'm applying acrylic gesso with a palette knife to coat it. This will help fill in the valleys, and after it dries, I'll give it a light sanding, and then I'll be set to start painting. I'm dividing my canvas up in quarters. I have marks on that brush right there that I know where my halfway point is. So I'm going to paint a little mark right there, so I know where half of the canvas is. Just double checking, there it is. Now I'm going to find the quarter mark, which is right there. Double check it, make my other quarter mark. So now I have my canvas in quarters. Just reference points. Now I'm kind of sketching out where I'm going to have that white crane standing in the water. Now this is just an outline. He'll change, obviously. Here he is standing in the water, the reflection in the water. Now I'm putting the horizon in. Those are the trees. Right here I'm going to have the sun setting on the horizon. There's a little hill. Trees are coming down to the hill there. And here's the water line right here, what I'm putting in. Right there's the water line. Now these lines will disappear when I start painting, but it's just to give me an idea where everything is. That's all it is. Now I'm going to be painting a golden sunset. The sky's going to be all gold, different color golds and yellows. Now I'm just putting the colors in various locations where I know where there's going to be certain clouds and where I see the bright orange and the bright yellow sky. That's a reflection in the water, that yellow. Now this I guess you would call like tonalism. It's not realism. I'm not trying to create like a photograph. So I'll just put the colors on the page and then I'll just blend them together, morph them together, and see what comes out. These are some of the clouds, the highlights, where the sun's reflecting off the lower part of the clouds. No, I'm just like putting the colors in. I'm not really planning anything. And once I start blending everything together, things will start to appear. I hope. And if not, it's just like I always keep saying, it's just paint. You know, you just paint over it and start and try it again. There's no right or wrong way, so I don't think that you have to do it this way to make things right. You just have fun. Just relax and have fun. It's fun sometimes just to see what happens when you do these things. Now these are bright spots in the sky that I'm putting in. And you can see those dark areas. Those are going to be some dark clouds where the sun's not getting to them. And I can always change this later if it doesn't work the way I want it. And sometimes, like what I'm doing, if you overwork it, is not the good thing. Just put the paint on and don't worry about it. I'm just adding tones, colors. That's all I'm doing right now. I'm not looking for detail. That's where the sun's going to be on the horizon, or a bright spot, let's put it that way. Now there's going to be many layers, so this is just the start. So I'm not worried too much. It's on your final approach, that's when you get nervous. You don't want to mess up. Right now, who cares? And to get a nice bright sky too, you need those dark clouds. That's what makes everything look bright, when you have dark clouds. Just adding some bright spots. Now this is what you would call tonalism, I guess. It's not realism. We're not painting a photograph. We're just giving an illusion of a sky. Which anybody can do. You don't need to be an artist to do this. You're just putting paint on a canvas and having fun. And if it doesn't work out, you try it again. Realism is a different story. That's hard to do. You need there's a talent with that. Here I am blending the colors that I just put on the canvas. Now I'm just using the side of the brush, very lightly going over the whole canvas. Just using a few bristles and some air to fuse, to blend all these colors together. And you can see things starting to happen. It's starting to look like a sky. And I didn't even really do anything. Now this brush here is nice. It's nice and soft. Now you don't want to press too hard, because then you're just going to blend everything into one color and you're going to lose everything. I'm doing these X patterns when I'm blending. See the X? Just putting some highlight. Oh, there was a mark on the canvas there. Just covering it up. There, I'm going back and forth to get rid of the lines, brush lines. Putting some more highlights in, hot spots. where the sun's reflecting off the bottom of the clouds. See, I'm speeding things up because it can get boring watching someone paint real slow. Like me. Alright, I'm just blending what I just did. Just lightly touching the canvas. And I'm cleaning off my brush too. You have to keep cleaning that tip because if you don't, again, you're going to be moving paint around the canvas and making a mess. So make sure you have a clean brush. I have a paper towel in my hand. I keep wiping off the tip of the brush. And when you do this, if it doesn't look right, again, you just add some more paint on it and just try it again. We'll just keep doing this until we get it right. Or the way we like it. There's no right or wrong. You're just doing it until you get to a point where it looks good, the way you want it. So you're taking out those brush marks. See, that's looking pretty good. Now I want to darken up those clouds because having dark clouds will make the bright spots stand out more. Now I'm not worrying too much about the color because I can always add more color to it. So if you don't like something, you can always paint over it. Just trying to stay inside that dark cloud there. That dark space. That's all I'm doing. Now these are clouds right here on the horizon. Those are trees in the white spot. Those are clouds. They're going behind the horizon. Now I'm just blending the cloud, the brown part that I just put in. I'm using the tip of the brush, the edge, the corner. I'm not using the whole brush. That's like using a small brush. I mean, you don't need to have a small brush. I can use the big brush and just use the corner of it. See, I'm just using the corner of the brush to blend. Again, I'm speeding everything up. See, I'm using the corner of the brush. See how the yellow, the bright spots stand out a little bit more? Having the dark clouds. Now, again, you got to have a clean brush to do this or you're going to start moving all the paint. You're going to lose everything. So have a nice clean tips, clean brush. Especially in the bright spots, because if you keep have a dirty brush, you're going to start getting all that muddy stuff in the bright spots. Starting to see some distance there in the white. Again, I'm putting in some bright spots. This is where the sun's reflecting on the bottom of the clouds. Just the bottom of the clouds, the tips of the clouds are glowing. Those are clouds on the horizon there. The tops of those clouds there. The sun's just touching the tops of those clouds. Now this stuff here, you can always change it. If you don't like it, you can always change it. Paint over it. Again, I'm using a smaller brush, but I'm lightly brushing it. I'm feathering it. Just using the sides of the bristles and a little bit of air to blend those colors. A few bristles and air, basically. That's it. Just go slow, take your time. Using the corner of the brush in some areas. This is still not detail. I'm still not worried too much. I mean, I can always change it. Just brushing the edge of the cloud there. Just lightly touching it. Those are clouds just peeking over the horizon there. Now detail too, I can always put in later. I can let this dry and add some hot spots, some bright spots when it's dry later on. That I would consider like details. Right now I'm not too worried. I would consider this basically a base coat. Details and stuff I can do later. And a lot of this too I can cover up if I don't like it. Like if there's certain lines I don't like, I can always erase those lines. There you go, it gives you an idea what the clouds look like, what the sky looks like. I would call that almost, that's like a base coat really. Details we can do later. Now I'm going to start working on the water. There's a really bright spot on the horizon right there, right on the edge of the those trees. It's almost like a whitish yellow, but you can't see it. It's hard to see. Camera's not good at picking up details. Now in this water, I know there's some bluish colors in it, so I'm putting the bluish colors in. I'm just putting the colors into the water that I see. I'll just have layers and layers and layers of colors over this. Now I'm adding some yellows, which I know will turn blue and yellow turn green, but that's okay, that's water. Adding some of the browns from the sky into the water. I'm just blending. Now water, I'm just pulling down the colors like that to give them that reflection look. This gives that shimmering look. But we're not done with the water yet. This is just the beginning. And again, if you don't like something, you just paint over it. I want to add some more of the browns and the golds into the water. Now you can see that blue that I added. It's disappearing, but it was there. It's there. You might see spots of it later on. So I'm blending the colors in. Again, pulling down. Gives that reflection look. Blends everything together. Cleaning off my brush, and now I'm going back and forth to give that shimmer of like water ripples. Now this water has got to look like a mirror, So we got to keep adding some of those colors. We want the sky to look, the water to look just like the sky eventually. But I'm just doing this a slow process, just adding the colors as I need them and blending. This is how I do it. Other people will do things differently. Just adding some of the yellows. Some of the browns. Now these are all thin coats. I'm not putting on blobs and dabs, lots of paint. I'm just adding the color and blending it, cleaning off the brush, and I'm pulling down, blending everything together. And I'll keep doing this until it looks like the sky. Again, that paint's thin, it's not thick. Adding some more tone colors. Adding some of those reflections, those bright spots from the sky into the water. Doing that X pattern. Now, details we worry about later. We don't worry about details right now, or at least I don't. Just adding colors. I mean, there's a million ways of doing these things. I just do it this way. Now I want to work on that bright spot where the sun's reflecting in the water. Again, this is not a detail, I'm just adding color. Just blending. Doing that X pattern. A few bristles in the air. That's all I'm doing. Remember, there's not much paint on this canvas. It's very thin. And what I'll do is I'll let this dry for a few days. And then I'll start adding my details to it. Because right now, if I add details to this, it'll just blend into the paint that I already have on the canvas. So I like to let it dry and then start adding my details and more colors. Just layering. So it's time to let this dry for a few days and work on my other paintings. Now I want a little more contrast in this painting, so I'm putting some more dark in this because that's going to help the yellow to jump off the page. It's good having this contrast. So I'm using some burnt umber with black, mixed with black, and I'm putting it up into the sky there. Now I'm using my palette knife to do this. but I'm pushing that paint into the canvas so there's no lumps. Just pushing that paint right into the canvas, pressing it in. Just smushing it around. But I don't want to go into that yellow. See, that cloud on the top looks good. I like that with the dark on the top. But I think this move I'm making right now is the move that kind of messes things up. I don't like the brown, the dark brown at the bottom. I think I'm going to end up fixing that later. I'll show you what I did. All right, now I'm using my brush. I'm going to feather it out. Just using a few bristles and some air to lightly fluffing up this cloud. Now I can't go into the yellow, so I'm just like staying in the brown area, the dark brown. Because if I go into the yellow, it's just going to get muddy, and I'm going to lose that brightness. So doing that little X pattern, just lightly touching the canvas, staying out of that yellow. Looks like I'm touching the yellow, but I'm not. Just using my blush brush now to feather everything out, staying in the brown, not touching the yellow. Now you see that cloud on the top up there, it's a little too dark on the bottom. So instead of adding some light brown to it, which will start getting muddy, I think it's easier just to remove it and start over again. Using that blush brush again, staying out of the yellow. Yeah, I'm not happy with that dark brown on the bottom of that cloud. I mean, I could add light brown paint to it, but it's like, meh. I just start over. Now I'm using a clean paper towel. Now each time I swipe, I have to keep changing that towel out to get a clean spot on that towel. Because if I don't, I'm going to bring that paint and drop it down into the yellow, and everything's going to get all muddy. So each time I do that, I have to change the paper towel for a clean spot again. It's monotonous, but that's what you got to do. Clean. Now I picked up that paint. Now I got to change the towel again. So it's clean. Touch the yellow. Move up. Wiped off the paint. Change the towel again. It's clean. Wipe it off. There we go. Each time I swipe, I got to change the towel. Now I got to use my brush to feather everything out. I want to get rid of all those lines that I put into the cloud. Now I'm not really doing anything. I'm just like trying to get rid of those lines. Staying out of the yellow. There we go. Now it's looking good. I like that. The cloud looks good now. Let's go back to what we were doing before. I'm going to use that dark brown again with the black. I'm going to use the palette knife. And I'm going to push that paint into the canvas. And I'm just going to put it on top of the cloud this time. I want that darkness to run off the canvas. Now this darkness is what makes the yellows pop and the white jump off the page. You want that contrast. So they're nice and dark up there. That looks good. Just pushing that paint into the canvas. Now, I don't want to go crazy up here like I did last time. Just a little bit. Come down just a little bit there. That's it. That looks good. I like that. That's what I'm looking for. Now I'm just going to blend that out, fluff it up. Just a few bristles and some air, just lightly touching the canvas. Now I don't want to go crazy because I don't want to lose all that darkness I put up there. Here, that looks good. There we go. Getting rid of the lines. There, I like that. Now I'm using some titanium white in the sun. I want the sun to be nice and bright. So this sun is a hazy sun. So just getting some white in there. It's hard to see the detail because the camera that I'm using is my phone. And it's not picking up the detail. I mean, I'll show you the detail later. I'll give you a good shot of it. But at this angle, it just doesn't, and with this lighting I have, it's just not picking it up. Now this paint's pretty thin. So it goes on really good, nice and smooth. I'm putting some white into those clouds there. Now I don't want to go crazy putting this white on the clouds. I just want to hint, just touch a few clouds here and there. That's all I'm doing. Which you can't really see at this camera angle. Just lightly touching the clouds there. Now this is little detail work. This is what brings everything to life when you start doing this kind of stuff. Now I'm putting some white on the edges of these clouds because the sun's on the right hand side of these clouds, so the right hand side of these clouds are getting the light. Now this cloud here is behind the trees, that white section. Those are going to be trees, so this cloud is on the horizon but behind the trees, just peeking over the horizon. Just a little bit of white up there. Now I'm just going left to right with this clean brush here, just feathering everything out. Now I don't want to go too hard with this brush. I'm just lightly touching the canvas because I don't want to lose what I just put on. So just feathering everything out. Now I'm staying out of that brown because if I touch that brown, I'm going to bring the brown into the yellow and it's going to mess everything up. Now I'm adding some darkness to this cloud here that's just peeking over the horizon. There we go. There, that's what I want. So here's a better angle. You can see the detail now in the sky. Now I'm ready to do the horizon and put the trees in. Now the trees are going to be a silhouette of trees and stuff like that because the sun is so bright that you're not seeing much color. You're just seeing a silhouette of trees. So now I'm going to put the horizon in, the water line. Try to get a nice straight line there. I didn't realize it until after I was already done that I didn't turn the studio lights on. I was in such a hurry to paint, I just wasn't paying attention. The only light that I have is coming in from the window that's to the right of me. So the camera is going to start jumping around, trying to refocus every time I move. Because the light keeps changing. So you're going to get all these weird things going on. See it jumping around there, see? Alright, I'm speeding it up because all I'm doing is putting a base coat in. Just blacken everything out. It's a dark brown with some black paint. That's the tree line. And all the detail and stuff like that I'll put in later. Now this is a funky little brush that I have. These bristles are good for doing leaves. I just took the brush and just dipped the tip in the paint. And now I'm just lightly touching the canvas to give myself some leaves there on the trees. But I tested this brush in the paint before I touched my canvas. I wanted to make sure that it was going to work because you don't want to do this and find out one big piece of paint just stuck to the canvas. And you have to start all over again. So test everything out before you go and do something like this. Practice. Learn from your errors like I did. It's easy to make mistakes. You don't want to make them now. So I'm being very careful not to push too hard. Just lightly tapping the surface there. Just touching the canvas. And I'm not putting a lot of paint on the brush because then it'll just make one big mess. Now again, you can't see what I'm doing here because the camera is not picking up the detail, but you'll see it later. And you're really not going to have much color in these trees because they're just silhouettes, but I will put some highlights of color and lightness in these trees. And I still have to put the tree trunks and the branches in. So this is where all the detail work comes in. Now, I'm not doing realism. I'm not trying to make this look like a photograph. This is just art. It's just tonalism, basically. It's just like these are an illusion of trees. I'm not trying to make a tree look like a real tree. It's just a hint, an illusion. I want this tree to be a little taller. And this one too. Now I'm doing the reflection in the water. Now these are those trees that I just put in. Just lightly putting in a hint of those trees. Now these trees are far from the horizon right there, because in between these trees and the horizon is going to be a big wet area, turbulent water. A lot of little waves and light, so you're not going to see much reflection. In this area here where I'm putting the reflection is calmer water. So this is where you're going to start seeing the detail in the trees. It's like a mirror over here. Now over here, I'm putting in a base coat. This is going to be a grassy area. Now I'm just putting in some dark color, just as a base coat. Now the white crane is going to be standing in front of it, basically, so you won't see much of this, but just putting this in. Still got a lot of work to do in the water. Got to put the reflections in, some more color, more detail, little waves, ripples. I got to put the bird in. I got to put the reflection in the water. So we're getting there. This takes time. Just having some fun. Now here's a better angle with the lights on, the studio lights and stuff, so you can see the detail. So it's getting there. Not much more to do, I hope. I'm kind of looking at this horizon here, and it looks a little off to me. There's 10.5 inches right there. Yep, it's off about 1/4 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch, and that's driving me crazy. Got to fix that. And dilute some of this paint I have here. Add some medium to it. And just correct that. Just have to bring this edge down a little bit. That's perfect.
Oh.
Oops. A little too thin. That's all right. It's 3 a.m. It's early morning. I'm not thinking right now. I shouldn't be painting when I'm not thinking. That's right. Problem solved. There we go. That's better. Get some more of that horizon. Gonna add a little detail into the trees there too. And again, 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm not thinking. I'm using the wrong brush. I should have been using my tree brush, my funky brush. But that's okay. At least it's in the dark areas. I can always correct all that. Still too early for me. I need my coffee. Now I'm using my fan brush, my little fan brush here, to put a lot of little teeny waves in here. This is a turbulent area in the water. So you're not getting any reflections from the trees in the water. It's just waves, little waves. So I'm just tapping in some white areas. Little crest. And that's what I have. I'll do some more work on that. This is kind of like what I have right now. Now these are the little reflections in the water of grass that I'm going to be putting in. I'm just playing around right now. I'll be adding a lot more than this. Now I'm using my liner brush to do all this work. Very thin, dark brown. Putting in little lines, little tree trunks and branches. Now I'm going to have a lot of grass coming out of the water too. These are just reflections I'm putting into this little land thing here. I still have a lot of work to do on that little piece of land. Still want to put a lot of reflection in the water too. I haven't even really started on the water. And the sun too, I want that to glow more too. Putting in some ripples here with my liner brush. I have the paint titanium white really thin, so it goes on really smooth. This camera's hard. It's hard to see the detail because the camera's just not picking it up. Well, this camera's my phone that I use, so it's really not picking up the detail. Now I'm pushing the land back right there because I want to create a little cove. Like the land's going deep inside the woods there. Good place for fishing. Because if I was a fish, that's where I'd be, right in there. Using my titanium white there and the liner brush to do all this work. Just putting some lines in there for the reflections. I'm going to do a lot of work on this. I'm really just messing around right now. Just fluffing up all this white that I put in with a clean brush. Just pushing the paint into the canvas, really. Still using that liner brush in titanium white. Then I'm using my blending brush to blend everything. See, I'm just pushing that paint into the canvas, soften it. But I'm going to do more work because I have the reflection of the bird that's going in the water too. And I want to put some more of the sky in the water, so I'm going to do a lot more work on the water. I'm just playing around right now, see what it looks like. Kind of gives you an idea of what I have right now. There's a better angle for the camera. Can pick up some of the detail. Well, it's time to do the white crane now. There's many ways of doing this. I mean, you could use a piece of chalk and trace them out onto the canvas, but I'm so used to doing airbrush work and using templates that I decided to go this direction. And I just cut him out of a piece of paper. And right there on his body, I have that line as a mark for the horizon where I'm going to place him. And here's the negative or the positive, whatever you want to call it. And on that, I also have the line there, so I can right there put it on the horizon. But it's kind of hard to see. That paper covers everything up, so that's why I have this other one, the cutout, the negative. I'm just looking for the placement. I'm getting tangled up there. That looks good. I already predetermined where I want them, so I'm just trying to like replace them back in that position. All right, the bird's not moving. Now I'm putting the other template over just to line it up. Now I'm going to hold that template in place with my fingers and remove the inner bird. Take him out. So now I know the positioning of my template. Now I'm going to use some paint and a very tiny brush, and I'm just going to put some lines around the edge of the paper there. Now I'm trying to make sure where that brush doesn't go under the paper, because I don't want any lines outside the paper. So I'm putting all these little dots all over the place. And now I'm carefully removing the paper without getting any smudge marks. And that gives me a placement right there, so I have an idea where I want them. So now all I got to do is just fill in the center part. Just fill them in. Follow the dots. I'm using that pole there to stabilize my hand as I fill them in. Now this is just the base coat right now to block out all the background. So I'm just going to outline them and fill them in with the white, and then I'll put in the detail after. Just making sure I don't go outside those lines that I created with the template. Now I'm not going to worry too much about the beak, because the beak is going to be a dark color. Now all this paint on the canvas prior me putting this template on to do the bird has been dry. It's been dry for like 4 days now. You don't want to put that template on a wet canvas. There we go. Now it's time to do the reflection. I'm using that template again, but I have to see, that's the way it was. Now I'm flipping it over. So it's going to be a mirror image of what I already did. But I also have to get this lined up too. So I'm getting the legs lined up, the tail, and now I got to get that beak to beak. There's the beak to the beak. I got to make sure it's all lined up. Now the legs, I still haven't finished the legs. The legs are going to be standing in the water, but I haven't put those little fine legs in yet. So again, I'm just doing the same thing, just putting an outline. Now the reflection is going to be a darker color. It's not going to be white, so I'm using the color that I'm going to be using for the shadow. Now this doesn't have to be perfect because it's a reflection, and when it's in water, it's going to be rough. It's not going to be a perfect, smooth image. So I'm just using the colors that I'm going to be using as the shadow of the bird in the water. And it's okay if I go outside the lines, because it's a reflection. You're going to have waves, and there's going to be movement. So right now I'm just coloring them in just to put a little detail, just to get an idea of what's going on here. I still have to put other colors in the water and reflections and stuff like that, but this is just just to get an idea. It's just a base. That's all this is. There he is. I'll do more work on it. That's just to get, you know, a baseline. Now I'm just adding sky color into the water here. Just blending it out. Adding some more color over there. Using my blending brush. I'm pulling down on these colors here like water because that's what you want. You want to pull the paint down. Like there. I'm pulling it down. And then I'll go back and forth left and right to smooth it out. Now I'm going to start adding some highlights, some detail to this bird. Now this is his underside, his chest area. There's going to be a lot of shadow there. That's under his tail. And he's got his legs there. Using that pole to rest my hand on for steady lines, for detail work. Now his head's going to be dark and his beak's going to be dark because of the sun. He's in the shadow. This is the shadow side of the bird. Sun doesn't get to this side of him, so he's going to be on the dark side. But this side lightens up a bit down here. Now I'm just pushing the paint around, moving it around. A little highlight there. Using a fine detail brush. Get those little spots. Putting that pole in position. Rest my hand on it. It's going to work on his beak a little bit better. Adding just a little bit of color to the beak, not much. More shadow. Working on the grass, that little island there. Adding his little eyeball. Now I'm putting his legs on. They come down to about his knees right there. And then they bend into the water. There they bend right there. Bend into the water. Now the shadow is going to come up to that point. And there it is. Just a fuzzy little shadow connecting those the legs. That's it. Now I'm going to start adding some motion in the water. Some little waves and movement, reflections. This color's all coming from the sky. Picking up the sky color. Now I'm just blending it in. Make it nice and soft. Don't want to overblend. A little hair there. Or a piece of dirt, or a little paint, a blob. Just blend that out. That's a hair. Don't want any hair floating in the water. Just adding some highlights wherever I think they need to be. That's all. there's some ripples in the water from his legs. There you go. I'm gonna put some grass here. Some blades of grass. Need something in the foreground right here. Well, here's something I like to show you. You're probably asking yourself, how do I clean my brushes? Well, I use vegetable oil. I'll take a little vegetable oil here and I'll just pour it into this tray. Small amount. That should be good. Close it up. Take my dirty brush, dip it into the oil, work it around, get the bristles all nice and oily. And then I'll just wipe off the oil and the paint just falls right off the bristles. Do that a few times and it'll get nice and clean. And that's it. Then to get any residue that might be on there, like any oil from the vegetable oil, what I'll do is I'll just take it into the other room. Use some dish soap, which gets rid of grease and oil off your dishes and also works on the brush. Put a little bit in my hand. Get the water on my hand there and run the bristles through the detergent. Get it all sudsy and wet. And just clean it off and there it is. It's nice and clean. Then I just dry it off with the paper towel here and just let it air dry. And then I'm ready to use it. And that's it. Perfect. I hope that helps somebody. There you go. Well, back to my painting. Here it is, all finished. All framed and everything. Hope you like it. I appreciate you tuning in. If you'd like to discover more about this art piece, please visit Salty Air Artistry's website. Thanks once again for tuning in. And if you do like this video, please like and subscribe because it helps me create more painting content for you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.